This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, prestigereef.co.uk and reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. What's up, YouTube? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Reef Dork Show. Today we're going to be talking about pH. And what's it? So the title is why you shouldn't focus on pH, Ryan. But the thumbnail says pH doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're trying. Controversial.
I can already feel people typing, going into the comments after this, basically. But so I'm not going to tell them not to wait and hear what I've got to say. You type away. You say whatever you want. That's fine. We'll come on to that later. And if I get time, I'll put a little timestamp so you don't have to sit and watch me and Ryan talk nonsense for however long we talk nonsense for. But we will talk about that because it's genuinely worth talking about. And there was another video from a very respected, not like us, very respected YouTube channel that is relevant to this that was released in the last week.
Who is it?
I'll tell you later. Can't give away the game.
Okay.
Interesting.
Just quickly, I just remember someone commented about how passionate we were without arguing last week.
Yeah. It was good. I think people were like, "Yeah, go on, hit him."
People were like, fight. Yeah. Did anyone say anything to you?
No.
Oh yes, it was mentioned to me. So
that was it. Yeah.
They said that you are a very, very capable arguer, basically.
You.
So, as you're very good at you're wrong, but you're very good at getting your point across, I think was what they said.
I was a litigator, so I literally got paid to argue
with people
10 years.
So what you're saying is I'm way out of my depth, but I still won.
Well, no. To be fair, if you had a decent argument on that point, you would have been fine. But just you were wrong, and you were dealt a bad hand. So that's all there is.
Okay. We shall.
I think we agreed though. We agreed though, didn't we? More or less.
We kind of met in the middle.
Really, and actually on that,
for the sake of to show people that just because you have different ideas does not make you enemies.
To be fair, we could have spent a lot longer on that topic, really, because we didn't. I don't know how long we talked about it. Half an hour. You need to spend a lot more on it because I don't want people thinking I don't want people thinking that all you need to know about is what equipment you need to buy. That's obviously not the case.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. It's obviously not the case.
That's not what I was saying, though. But anyway, so you can spend ages talking about that. To go into it in detail. But anyway, fine. So, but this week we're going to talk about pH, and we're both on the same page, I think. Anyway, we probably have slightly different opinions, but pretty much the same.
I think yours will. Yeah, it's pretty much the same opinion, I reckon.
Yeah.
Although we thought we had the same opinion last week, so who knows?
Yeah, I promise no falling out.
No falling out. I just want to say something very quickly. I just want to say thank you to someone. And the reason I want to say thank you to someone is because only 5 minutes ago did I find out something. So I received a little whiskey glass in the post. No idea who it came from. It didn't say there was no this is from or anything like that. And it just says, it's essentially saying get well soon. And it turns out that it is, I found out from Alex literally 5 minutes ago, it's from the East Coast Reefer who messaged Alex to say, I want to do something to cheer Ryan up. So now the reason I haven't been in contact was because I only just found out. So because I was I said to Alex a minute ago, I got this in the post. I'm going to ask on the live stream because it must be someone who watches the live stream because they knew I was ill. And also they knew I liked whiskey. And then Alex went, oh yeah, it's East Coast Reefer. I'm like, okay. So anyway, thank you very much.
And if you basically, so he messaged me and asked for your address. So if anybody wants Ryan's address, phone number,
he just gives it out willingly.
Whatever, exactly. If you want to know when he's not at home, just message me. And no, you don't even need to give me a story. Just say what's his address, when won't he be home, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, or when will he be home as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What room does he sleep in? You know.
Yeah.
all that stuff. That's fine.
So, but yeah. So anyway, it was, there's actually been a couple. This is the weird thing. There have been a few times where I've received stuff in the post that come from people on the live stream. I have no idea how some of these people like actually have my full address. Obviously, my postcode is on the it's readily available to people.
When you post corals, does it have your address on the label?
No.
Okay.
No. The interesting thing I find as well, people don't realize where I live. I found there's a shop near me that's closed, and it's called Sussex Corals. They're about probably 45, 50 minutes away from me. So a lot of their customers are now looking for new places to find corals. And like there are people that are like 20 minutes from me going, I had no idea you were here. I follow the channel. I just had no idea you were 20 minutes away. So if anyone wants to know where I live, it's not far from Brighton. It's not far from Horsham. It's probably like 20 minutes below Horsham. So you're more than welcome to come and collect if you want. But it still amazes me that after 4 years, people don't know I'm here.
Yeah. Well, you don't. I guess you don't publicize your address. It's not like because you're not a shop.
No, my postcode is on every single Facebook post I put out, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah. And on your Instagram, actually.
It's pretty readily available. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, how has your week in reefing been?
Week in reefing. Oh.
Yeah. I've thrown you off because you normally make me go at first, don't you?
I'm going to talk about the fun stuff and then I'm going to talk about the bad stuff.
Actually, yeah, I need an update on the bad stuff as well, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Yeah. All right, I'll come on to that. So I went to the UK's best coral seller on Saturday.
Best coral seller.
I went to Signature Frags.
Yeah.
The original plan was, because it's 3 hours each way from me. So the original plan, and I had some stuff to do in the morning. The original plan was drive up there, 10-minute chat with Christian, pick up a couple of corals and then drive back, basically, because he did an update on his website recently with new corals, and there are a few that I like the look of, but I always like to see corals in the flesh. And I don't mind a road trip. I quite like a road trip, to be fair. But I didn't have much time, so I wanted to get back. So I was like, you know what? 3 hours, bang up the motorway, 10 minutes in the shop, 3 hours back, job done.
Yeah.
But I got there, and there were two people there who you might have seen in the chat before, or in on the Friday live stream, TB Corals, Tom, and Drippy Reef Geek. What's his name? Ryland. Hello, guys, if you're watching. And they were there just having a chat with Christian. And I got stuck. So I got there about 3:30, and I got talking to them, and I just stayed there basically until they left. So we were there for about 2 hours, just chatting reef nonsense. Really, first off, really nice to meet both of them. Really good, fun chat. But it also made me think, and I got back really late. I got back at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. But it made me think that's what Aqua is going to be like in 2 weeks' time. Only 1,000 times that. Because everybody will be in the best mood ever. There'll be 2,000 people there, maybe even more. God knows how many.
I'm not sure I'll be in the best mood ever. I think I'll be incredibly stressed.
But you'll be like buzzing, I think.
Yeah.
Until the end, and then you'll crash.
Yeah, true. It's I'm actually starting to get quite nervous about it. I know I've just interrupted you, but like I am actually starting to get quite nervous because it's like it's a big deal moving like corals. It's not like you can lose one coral in the post sometimes, let alone moving like 800 frags all in one go. I don't know, and I have been to shows before where bad things happen, and either a load of corals will die, or there's like a bacterial bloom overnight, and then you cannot see the corals. The tank's completely white. So I've done everything I can to try to prepare for that. So I've got a UV sterilizer, one of those green mean machine things. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I've got one of those specifically for that reason, to go, right, I need to try to like think of every possible negative outcome just to stop like something bad from happening. And I think I'm pretty covered, but we'll see. But once on Saturday, once the doors open, I'll be fine. It's only up. It's up until that moment where I don't know if everything's going to survive or whatever. Like it'll be fine, but there are bad things that can happen.
Indeed.
I just worry too much.
Yeah, well, it's natural, isn't it? It's a big deal. So
yeah.
And the
anyway,
first time you've done it properly. Yeah, so I went up to Signature Frank yesterday. He's got some nice corals. I would recommend a visit or a trip to his website. I bought the nicest one I bought, and this one I would have bought on the website anyway. Was a yellow submarine Favia, really nice.
Yeah.
I've had my eye on that for a while outside of the UK. Just didn't know it was available over here. It's really nice.
Yeah.
What else? And then I can't remember what else I bought. A few others. Oh, a Holy Grail Micro Musa. I finally broke. I don't really understand why they're just red and green. It's a red and green acan.
Yeah.
And this was 130 quid, which is going rate for like 3, 4, 5 heads, whatever. Yeah. And I don't know why, but for the last 6 months, I found myself really liking it. When in the past I've been like, why do people spend so much money on it?
Yeah. It's interesting because that does happen sometimes. It's like the reason you felt like that before was because you didn't really focus on LPS corals. Whereas now that you're focusing on LPS corals, all of a sudden you're like, oh, that looks nice.
Yeah. And I've seen a few people who've grown them out into colonies.
Yeah.
And they actually look really cool when they're grown out. So yeah, I don't know. It's just so expensive that it's like, But anyway, it is actually quite a nice coral. Yeah. And a couple of other, I can't remember what else I bought. Oh, I bought a bubblegum Monty, forest fire kind of type thing.
Okay, yeah.
So that's my first SPS in the tank.
I was gonna say, what's that about?
So I'm gonna put 2 or 3, maybe 4 SPS on the back on the weir box, basically.
Yeah.
Because I want
interesting.
Yeah.
And that's the one you picked.
Yeah, so I'm going to go for that and Seriatopora caliendrum, which is a really nice green bird's nest, really bright with pointy tips.
No,
why are you shaking your head?
Because you can't go from having like an all amazing acro tank to going to look, don't get me wrong, they're very nice corals, but they're just like
but that's the whole point. So I don't want the caliendrum is one of my favorite SPS corals, regardless of price, fancy name, rarity, or whatever. It's a really nice, super bright, cool growth pattern, just lovely. I really like it.
You've changed.
I haven't. I've had that. That's been the case for years. That's always been there. And the bubblegum Monty, it will go really well. Red and green go really well together, so it'll be quite striking. They'll grow quite quickly. They won't give me any headaches or major headaches like acros would do. And in my tank is relatively low light. They'll probably be getting 180 par. Yeah, maybe a tiny bit more, but maybe a bit less. So I don't want super high light demand corals. But I do want something sticky, stick shaped. So.
They basically grow in the dark, so I don't think you'll have to worry too much about not having enough light with them.
Exactly. So, but SPS in the LPS tank.
I just wonder if this is going to be it's like a gateway drug back in SPS corals.
Yeah. Like I'll just have a quick bit of heroin and then just one.
just one. What is one? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We've done the opposite because obviously you've got rid of all your acros, and I'm now starting to put acros in the water box, aren't I?
I saw, yeah. Actually, let me just pull that up because there was you posted a photo, right?
Yeah.
Prestige Reef. Where are
you? Said that you appreciated that I didn't mess around with any of the colours or anything like that. That's literally just the colour of them.
Yeah, and they look nice. They look really nice. I think that one is it's a Carduous. What's it called? Oh God, I can't remember. I think I had that though.
Purple. I think some of these probably came from you. So maybe, it wouldn't surprise me if some of these came from you.
But that is, if that's what I think it is, and I can't. What is it, guys in the chat? Stickheads. It's a Acropora Carduous, but it's like purple with green tips. Grows really fast, smooth skin acro. I can't remember what it's called, but I think that's it. And I had one of them. It grew mentally quick, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I because it got so big so quick, I took the whole coral out, tried to frag it, and just sort of bonsai it a bit. 90% of it's stripped. I was like, oh, wicked.
So what you're saying is that piece is probably going to be dead by tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe, but it might be good. And that one looks like a what's it called? A PC Rainbow.
Is that? I don't know any of the names of the acros.
Which I had. Well, this one looks like one I used to have as well, because this was from Jamie, who's bought corals off me before when I had what they're called. Pac-Man Hurlock. Yes, Luke. Thank you. Pac-Man Hurlock Acropora. Yeah. It's lovely. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
But you're a stickhead now.
I don't know. I want something that's different to what's in the coral farm. Is what I want. If you think about
it's
it,
not going to get eaten by angelfish.
that is true to some extent. Or then again, as the track is doing fine at the moment, so touch wood. Like she seems to. I will try with some more LPS soon. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really gone into that sort of like named colorful SPS. I had just normal
Stylo, Monty.
Yeah, I had a big yeah. So it was nothing fancy, but I need something for the water box which gets me excited, because so I can. There's no point in just taking corals out of the coral farm and putting them in the water box, because then you're seeing the same corals in a different tank.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I just thought I'd go for something completely different, which hopefully the angelfish won't eat. And so far, she seems to be all right. So and look, it might get to the stage where I go, actually, it's not worth having acros for me, because I used to go away a lot, and like they're, as you know, they're a pain in the ass. So, but these have come from a tank which they've been in there for a long time and have grown in there, and without, they would have come from a tank of like quite high nutrients. Let's put it that way. So they've already been exposed to quite a lot. Probably Jamie listens to this, he'll be thinking, "That cheeky bastard." But he will admit he has quite high nutrients. So they're going into a low nutrient tank. I had to dose nitrate today, just to so that they didn't have too much of a shock. But we'll see. It's just it's something that excites me at the moment. It might not excite me in a week's time or a month's time when they start stripping. So
it'll keep you entertained.
Yeah. See, I don't mind having
the bug. You'll get worse and worse, and then you'll be like, "Ooh."
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't mind having difficult corals, or I don't mind having acros, but I won't be getting into tenuous and things like that, because it's just like it takes the fun away, in my opinion. I want to enjoy my tank, not put something in, then it turns brown, and then a week later or a month later it dies. So, and look, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are some people that are exceptional at keeping tenuous. I am not one of them. So it's as simple as that. So did you see that? Oh, Jamie's in the chat. Did you see Signature have tenuous there? Because he's known for growing quite good.
Probably. I didn't pay much attention to the acros.
You're not looking for them anymore, so you don't care. Isn't that interesting?
So, I saw there were some that stood out that I was like, "Oh, that's nice," but I didn't. He's got 3 coral tables. 2 of them are acro or SPS acros, whatever, and 1 of them is LPS. And I spent 10 minutes looking at the acros, half an hour looking at the LPS. So.
He's got one called Fox Flame. I don't know if that's a name.
I had that. That's Jason Fox. Yeah,
it looks nice.
It's beautiful. So that was one of his more expensive ones. That was one of my most expensive.
I think it was like £200 or something, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's what I paid for a frag.
Yeah.
But it was really nice. It's beautiful.
Is it tabling?
I don't know. Mine didn't grow out. It looks like it.
What? Oh, yours didn't survive then?
No. It survived. It based out, and then I sold it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, well, we'll see. I don't think I'll ever properly like become obsessed like some people, but I said I value an easy, not an easy, but like a tank that doesn't give you headaches is what I value.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyway, you've told us the good then. Or some of the good. I don't know if you told us all of the good.
That's there is one last thing, actually. Quick shout out to Rudra, who's long time subscriber. He commented on one of my videos the other day and said, because in all my videos, there's a link to my Etsy store where I sell 3D printed aquarium accessories like the triple Hannah checker holder, which is amazing. reefdork.etsy.com. And he commented and said, I updated it recently, and he commented and said, where's the so at the start of this it says reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessories. He said, what did you say? Sorry, I can't hear it and I can't work out what the website's called. And I was like, link in the description.
Yeah.
And he said, I looked at the description but I didn't see it, and the reason he didn't see it because it wasn't a hyperlink, so it doesn't stand out.
Yeah.
So I went back and I edited, I made it a hyperlink on on all of my videos above 50,000 views. So I went and updated that. So now it stands out a bit more. But the first thing I did the hyperlink wrong. And someone commented like 10 minutes later and said, it says this is a dangerous website. And it's because I hadn't put HTTPS at the start. And so I went back and did that, and then it fixed it. But suddenly I panicked. I was like, "Oh God, everyone's going to think I'm scamming,"
Yeah.
But
I didn't even know you can make them hyperlinks. I thought either it did it automatically or maybe not.
No, I hadn't paid any attention to it, but Rodra, thanks for shouting out because it's interesting. And I've actually changed the start now, so it's written down. It says reefdork.co.com and it says prestigereef.co.uk in case you can't.
Oh, does it? I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, you'll see it. Well, if you ever watch this back, you'll see it, but you won't. And the last thing on my week in reefing, I got white spot.
Yeah.
So I haven't bought a new fish for a long. Well, I bought a couple of clownfish in the cage tank, but I haven't bought a fish for a long time for my main tank. My Peninsula 500. I hadn't bought one for I don't know 6 months, and I hadn't since I've set this tank up 3 or 4 months ago. I'd not bought anything, and I was nervous about adding fish because I don't quarantine, and I've had those fish for a while, and I was like, but then finally I was like, do you know what? Let's do it. And there's a shop near me where I got this from, and it's not the shop's fault. If you get a fish that has white spot, it's not the shop's fault. And I've been speaking to this guy for ages. He knows his stuff really well, and he treats fish in the shop and all this. And I was like, okay, I feel confident because he goes through stages of treating, and he taught me through all the stuff he treats for. He does a really thorough job. Yeah. But I bought this a Royal Grammar, put it in the tank. And it was just sitting in the top corner of the tank on the back wall for the first day. And I was like, fine, just you're getting used to your new surroundings. 2 days later, he was still doing the same thing, not even going for food when I put it in. I was like, that's weird. But okay, fine, whatever. And like 3 or 4 days later, same thing. I was like, that's really a bit odd. And then on Thursday, whatever it was, like 5 days after I'd got him, I came downstairs after work and I looked at my coal tank. I was like, he looks weird. Look, and when fish have white spot, they look like faded and they just don't look good. And he just didn't look right. And I had a closer look. I was like, oh, now I've got white spot. I had 2 days later, the Royal Grammar died. Bastard. Yeah. But nothing else has died. And actually, my other 2 tangs are both fine. The gem tang doesn't have any spots on him that I can see, and I've taken photos and zoomed in.
That's because he's got loads of spots on him.
But you can, yeah. But the Tomini tang has a couple of spots, and a couple of the fish had a couple of spots, literally 2 or 3. Yeah. But actually, that was I saw that on Thursday. We're here 4 days later now. The coal tang isn't looking any better, and I need to pull him out and treat him. Yeah. But everything else is okay. For now, I turned on Friday. Sorry, I set up a 55 watt UV sterilizer, which I had lying around basically. So that will do something, and I've doubled my feeding since then to keep them healthy. Yeah. But yeah, I've got white spot from the one fish I bought for 6 months.
I grew very attached to that whitetail coal tang.
He's a really nice fish.
Don't let me down.
I don't know how. He might be fine, but I need to pull him out. He's not looking good. He's not like he's swimming around. He's active. He doesn't look lethargic. He's not breathing heavily. He looks fine in himself, as it were. But he's not looking good. So I need to treat. My problem is I'm going away on Thursday. So I'm not going to be around to treat him.
Coming back here.
Feed him. No, I think that'd be pretty much a pain in the ass. But I'm not going to be around to feed him properly and treat him until at least for another week, basically.
So I was just obviously thinking, as I said to you, obviously when you told me originally, I have a tank here, don't I? And I have all the medication, everything that you need. So just trying to think what the best way of doing it, because like if it could be done here, I've only got to set the tank up. So in theory, it could be done here. Send it over to Ryan's hospital care. There you go. So
if you want to put yourself through it, then that would be great. But that's not what I'm expecting. What my plan is, I've got a massive plastic container bucket, a 200-litre bucket that I use for rocks, and my plan is to set that up as a temporary tank with some filter media in it or whatever. Yeah, and then pull him out. So at least he's out of the system. And then he's on. I can treat him when I've got time, basically.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was just trying to think what the best way of doing it would be. So see, I'm This is not what I'm suggesting happens, because people will be really mad when I say this. I'm thinking about getting a new fish myself. So if I put that into a tank and quarantine it with all the copper and everything, but then I'm also exposing it to another fish which is sick. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to be doing the quarantine, but I don't know how quickly it kills all the white spot and everything, or if there obviously there is a risk to the fish. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm not suggesting that's what I was doing, but that was something I was thinking, well, I'm going to be quarantining anyway. So I just wonder, but it's probably not the best thing to do. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. Oh, pelagic swim. I can never say your name, so that would work okay. So
okay, yeah.
Also depends what fish I'm planning to add, because I'm planning to add a tang. So probably not the best idea. But I don't know. We'll talk about it after the stream, but you know, I always want to help. So
yeah, it's true. But that basically that's my problem. That's the first time I've had that for a long time.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you don't quarantine. You run the risk. So
and obviously it will always be in the tank now, but it just won't be in at like levels of where it's
exactly. To be fair, if let's assume for the sake of argument, I managed to remove the cold tank, treat him, and he recovers. Actually, I think everything else will be fine. I'm not panicking at the moment.
Yeah.
It's not an ideal situation, but I'm not panicking. I think it'll all be okay. It's not like velvet, for example. If it was velvet, it's a disaster. But it's not the end of the world. It's just a shame that I know I had it in my last tank, because I bought a Blenny and I took a macro photo of it, and I posted that on Instagram, and this was how long ago it was. What's the place that got taken over by Bulk Reef Supply called? Marine Depot. Marine Depot posted it on their Instagram page, and someone said, white spot. And I was like, no, he hasn't got white spot. And I looked closer, I was like, oh, he has. And he had a couple of tiny little spots, and he died a couple of days later.
Oh, did he?
Just disappeared. Yeah. Now, he didn't ever have proper spots, and I didn't see any other spots on any of my other fish. But from that moment on, I was like, so now I have white spot in the tank. So I had it in my last tank, technically, although I never saw anything. So it's the same in this tank. But
touch wood, so far, I haven't had anything else in the water box. So I'm touch wood.
But do you run UV now permanently?
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to have to for now as well.
Yeah. It does have some effect, but whether the one I have is having an effect, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because although the flow is going very slowly through it, I don't know if you get like industrial strength ones, and then you get like just cheap ones, and it's not. I don't think it's a cheap one, but I don't know how effective it is.
How many watts is it?
Don't ask me questions about that. Like, I think is it 80? Does that sound right? Or
pretty big, yeah.
Or 55? I can't remember. Something like that.
So mine's 55, which is still a lot. That's a lot of it's a lot of juice. So you know.
Yeah.
But so there you go.
Not good, but
tell us something good, Ryan. What's happened in your week?
Something good. I have some. What is it? Relatively exciting news. If you get my Instagram up again, you'll see it. So there's two things. Firstly, I spent the day with Jamie, doing fish stuff, and we went to a shop called Sussex Marine, as I said earlier. And the reason we went there is because although they are closing down, they are selling some of their equipment. Mm-hmm. So they had this like beautiful fish system. Like, it would have cost a lot of money. I think they're like thousands and thousands. And I think it's only been around since March. So it's basically brand new. This thing has not got a single scratch on it, basically. It looks really nice. It's like pristine condition. So I went and bought that because there's a couple of reasons I bought it. One of them is because I can then import fish and I can treat them and start selling and sell fish if I want to. Because I just think, obviously, I have a lot of customers that are coral buyers, and I've got about 80 people that are local that come and buy regularly, that come and collect. So why can't I sell those 80 people fish as well, is what I thought. It's just another thing to be able to sell people. And the other reason was I can get anything I want now. I've basically got 8 additional mini tanks. Yeah. So if I go, just fancy, I don't know, getting an eel today, I can then you get to spend time. It sounds weird, but you not to spend time, but you get to experience fish that you would never normally get to experience. So I would never buy an eel for the water box or for the coral farm. But
garden eels.
No, garden eels are awful. They're awful. I don't know, they're awful. I just think they're boring. People are like, oh, garden eels, they're great.
So cool.
No, they're just boring. And you can't have anything else with them, really. So, but yeah. So I just thought if I wanted to get a little puffer fish, just a little, like a small one, like the size you get in a shop, nothing can stop. Nothing stops me. Or a frog
nothing
fish.
Can stop me.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after, I don't know, a month or 3 months or whatever, I can then move it on. But what will probably happen is I'll fill all 8 tanks with fish that I want and then won't sell any of them.
Yeah.
So the other thing you could do, you could make like 8 little like not ecosystems, but like little like different types of tanks, couldn't you?
Yeah, little biotape type things.
Yeah.
So actually, I've been thinking a lot about that lately because I'm getting bored of the cage tank. I want to rip it down and start again. I think actually I'm just going through a phase and I need to just stick with it because I really want that to be grown out and look awesome. So give it 6 months, a year, or whatever. But I keep thinking, what would I do? Could I have garden eels? Probably not. Could I have seahorses? Could I have just an anemone tank? Something like that. So having 8 of those.
Yeah. I just it will look a bit odd. I don't know. It would look odd. It's not like having a display tank, is it? So it would look odd having 8 little mini systems. But I just think, and I couldn't have coral in there because the lights aren't coral lights. The things I would say I'm most looking forward to. I really like angelfish, and there's some dwarf angels that I could probably get. And you can have one in each tank. I can have all the dwarf angels. Or I don't know. But as I said, see, part of me this is where you can tell that I am a reefer first and a businessman second. If you see what I mean.
Because you buy something to expand your business, and all you're thinking about is setting up another display tank.
Yes, kind of. I just think it will be fun. I think it's very important to me that I still enjoy what I do. Because as soon as you if you don't enjoy what you do anymore, then what's the point in doing it? And this used to be my most people go to and have a job, and then they come home from their job and they enjoy their tank, and then they go to the fish shop and they do all these things which they enjoy that surrounds their tank. But when your job becomes your tank essentially, or your tank becomes your job, you don't have that same level of enjoyment anymore. So this has reignited me. One problem, doesn't fit.
Doesn't fit.
No, it will fit if we take it apart. But
upstairs, you can't get up the stairs.
Yeah, we have to take the top. So
right, okay.
Also, before anyone says, I've now checked where all the joists run. So it shouldn't be an issue with regards to having upstairs. And obviously, it's not going to weigh any more than a bath, I assume. So it should, in theory, be fine. If not, it might come through the floor onto the water box. So.
Oh wow!
No, actually, it would come through the floor next
on the sofa by the water.
Yeah, on the sofa. Yeah, it would. Okay. But I'm insured. I don't think it's going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
But
it's not that heavy.
No.
Half a ton.
No, I know. I don't think it'll be a problem. But as I said, I'm genuinely quite excited about this. And I cannot wait because it's just, I love fish. I realize this now. I have always been more of a fish than a coral person. So being able to have 8 different tanks of fish is amazing for me. So
that's cool.
Okay, 1 tang, 1 angel, 1 butterfly, in or whatever in some of them.
Fish.
Yeah, I have tanks of fish.
When I set up the Reef Casa, it was the great thing about that was it gave me an excuse to have it's a mimic filefish, but a pufferfish basically. Yeah, it was so cool. I like that.
Yeah. So that's the first part of my week in reefing. I'm just preparing everything for the show now. If I'm honest, I'm doing the last final things to get everything ready. So cleaning all the frag racks. There's so much goes into having a stand that people will just never understand. That you have to think about everything from fish bags to carrier bags, which are basically the same thing, but how you're going to transport the corals there. Alex is adjusting like a 3D printed leg so that my frag racks will stand up on top of each other, so I can just literally take them out and put them into the tank when I get there. So it's become all consuming for me. It's all I think about all day, every day.
But so when you think logistics like this are an absolute nightmare, and it sounds easy. It's like, I'll bag the corals up, I'll take them there, I'll put them in the tank. But actually, when you start thinking step by step, right, what am I going to do on the day? There's so much more that you just think, oh, I didn't think about that, and how am I going to do this? What about temperature? Will the water there be the right temperature? Or I'll need to take testers, and you'll need to take salinity testers, all this stuff, you know, that you just start to think, oh God, hang on.
How much am I going to put? How many corals am I going to sell? Like the bags have to be small enough so that you don't take out too much water. So I bought the bags I bought are actually for beta fish because they're just these little 3-inch bags. And no one needs. I don't need a big fish bag for a coral frag. A 3-inch bag will be fine. So it's all things like that. And also on the day, so I'm very, very lucky. I'm incredibly lucky. I've got 3 people who have specifically said, "Look, I will help you out basically most of the time." And I don't want. I said to them, "Look, you don't have to help me out all the time," but they've literally gone, "Yeah, look, like." One's definitely all day Saturday. They've actually said they might be able to do Sunday as well. But the other 2 people are the whole weekend. And it's about thinking, right, so where's best to put these people? Because even when I spoke to, because Jamie's one of the people helping, and he said today, like, people are going to want to talk to you. So do you then like just go, right, this person's talking to you. This person then wants this coral. So then Jamie gets the coral, bags it up, ties it up or whatever, and takes the payment and then move on to the next. But do you see how like it's about being efficient and how like, the best way of doing it? Or does everyone have a payment machine and everyone just talks to everyone? I have a feeling that it'll be like when you go into a fish shop, and I have no doubt that so many of you will have done this, where you go into a fish shop and there's someone there and they're free, and then you go, no, I'm going to wait to talk to the owner. Because I'm sure you've done that yourself.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I do it all the time.
So I have a feeling that it might be like that. But I have no idea. Am I going to be behind the stand? Am I going to be in front of the stand? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what banner's going on this wall? What's going to go on this wall? What will make it entertaining and exciting? Obviously, you know some of the information. I've not released like the last bit that.
Oh yeah. I know some top secret stuff. Yeah, it's really cool.
So I'm not going to. Only a few people know about that, and I'm not going to because I don't want anyone else to have the same idea. And I think people will have the same idea. So, so yeah, it's literally just thinking all things like that. But as you said, you got the banner up then just a second ago. It's so close now. It's so close, and it's really exciting for me.
You've got a million different types of Cyphastria.
Yeah, I got loads. That's not even all of them.
Really?
Yeah, I got other ones as well.
This one's the wrong colour.
What do you mean? Oh no,
look, it's green in my tank.
No, it's the one that you have is 2 above that.
Is it that one?
Yeah, that's the one you have.
Oh, okay. Right, I see. Yeah, that's the one I've broken.
Yeah, but that's the last thing. So those frags are obviously growing out. As far as I'm concerned, they're not accepted. Like, I want them to cover the whole plug. So, and that picture was taken, I don't know, probably a week ago. So Cyphastras grow pretty fast. I'm hoping that
they're based out. They're not like, it's not like they're freshies.
No, I know, and I'm hoping that they will have covered the rest of the plug in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not doing any more frags like they're like in the last 2 weeks. There's no point really in doing. Like the corals will be fine. Like things like, I don't know, if I took some digitata or something, they don't need to be. But I just think they don't need to be like well rested. But I just think I think it's fine what I've done so far.
I'm just going to interject for a second because this is the thing that Instagram does that's really weird. So this guy here, for Frag's sake, which is a quality name by the way, he says we're coming on Sunday, and Instagram says that's fine. And then there's a hidden comment. Yeah, it says I'll be there Saturday. And
I've not even seen those comments.
Exactly, and Instagram has decided to hide the one that says I'll be there Saturday.
Wow.
Because it's offensive, or just because it thinks it's does that?
I literally had no idea.
How is your algorithm so bad, Instagram? Anyway,
the other thing that I'm interested in is how many people are coming on each day? Is it 50-50? I bet it's not 50-50. And is there going to be like a mad rush at first when the doors first open, or so you can tell. Someone just said overthinking is a curse. That's, but it's not it's not. I don't mind overthinking if I can cover all bases. So, I'm even taking everyone should take polyboxes. Everyone should take polyboxes or some possible way of keeping your corals warm, because the coral vendors will not. They won't keep the corals. I don't think for them. There might be something there. I don't know. It says there's like a holding thing on the map, but I don't know if that's the frag swap or not. But if you think about it, I can't. If someone says to me, "Can you hold my coral for me?" Like, I'm gonna have like 800 pieces. I cannot hold. And the other thing is, this is the other thing that I'm doing. I'm actually going to have a box of corals which is not on display. So as corals go out, I'm going to replace those corals with newer ones, because obviously if loads of corals go on Saturday and then the people on Sunday just see a half-empty tank.
Sloppy seconds.
So I'm keeping the tank heated, and the corals will be fine without light for a day. So it's like I don't see it being an issue, especially if it's things like zoas or whatever, or duplicates of what I've already put out. So there's going to be
worst case scenario, if you get there and you see corals that you're like, I'd like that, but I want to come back tomorrow or the end of the day, and you can't hold them, you can just buy them on the website.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, to be fair, yeah, that is true. But as I said, it sounds harsh, but I will not. I can't mentally be able to keep your corals and sell corals and then not sell yours by accident. If you see
could you have a separate tub that's just full of warm salt water that you put? Oh, but then you'd have to label them, and then you'd have to remember.
It doesn't even need to be warm. Like if you it doesn't. No, sorry, it doesn't even need to be salt water. You could. I've literally got the.
But if you put it in warm tap water and accidentally leaked.
True. But I've got some plastic tubs or anything like that. I could literally put a heater in them and put. But I don't want any responsibility for that. It's like I go, look, here is a tub, here is a pen. You put your name on it. You put them in there. You come back and collect if you want. But if like you will,
someone comes along and steals it.
Yeah, I won't be part of this anymore. Like, if you see what I mean? It's like
just best not to. Just polyboxes is the answer. Bring a polybox.
So everyone should bring a polybox, or I think Maidenhead do these fish bags or anything. One of my customers, which I thought was interesting, had said to me, "Can I buy a polybox from you on the day?" I'm like, "Well, if you like, you can if you want, but surely just get one before the event." If you see what I mean.
Cool boxes.
Cool boxes.
They're insulated. They're not just for cool, are they? For cold.
Yeah. So, but and it sounds like I've not done I've told you like a bad thing telling you to bring polyboxes. I will have polyboxes on the day, and I will sell polyboxes on the day.
So you won't have 500.
No, I will bring one pack of them. I think in a pack there's like 40, and that's it. So if people want to buy them, they can. And it makes no difference to me if they do or don't. It's like I want people to have the option. I don't think other people will be thinking about it.
No. So JJ, who is American and therefore a seasoned pro at going to coral shows, uses a backpack cooler, which is a good idea. Like that.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Bet you can get them on Amazon for 20 quid.
Yeah.
I'm running a poll, by the way, to see if you're going on Saturday or Sunday or both. 50% of people say, I just like to vote. 28% of people are going Saturday, 6% Sunday, 17% both.
Okay.
So it's pretty much, there'll be people that should, according to that poll, there'll be a roughly even split Saturday and Sunday. Bit more on Saturday.
And as I've said before, and this is exactly the same with the coral shows, like this isn't just for me, this will probably be for like other vendors too. If you want a deal, the deals are done at the last couple of hours on Sunday. Yeah. That's when the deals are done. So if you
have to take this home with me.
If you come to me on Saturday and go, "Can I have a deal?" on Saturday morning, I'll go, "There's another like 20 people. Like I can't be negotiating, and I especially can't be negotiating in front of other people because they'll all do the same thing."
Come to me at 4:00 on Sunday when I've started to think about when there's no one left.
Yeah,
and you can have
buy
one get one free or whatever.
I'll sort something out, because like as you said, I don't want to be taking. Remember, it's going to be a really long day. There's then a 3-hour drive home, and then I've got to put the corals back into the farm. So I want it to be as simple as possible, basically.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah. So that I would say is it, really. We already covered the frags that went into the water box tank, so that's it.
In which case we can talk about pH.
Yes. What is your opinion? I'm going to pick the opposite to it.
Okay, fine. So we've been talking about doing this this exact idea for a stream for a while.
Yeah.
And finally, there was someone posted on the Prestige Reef Dork Show Facebook page the other day saying their pH was 6.3 on a new tank, and it's like, fine, whatever. But it was that made me message you, say, let's just do it. We've been talking about it for ages. Let's just crack on and do it. Yeah. And the first thing I said to you was, I bet that's a fool's test. And it turns out it was a fool's test.
It was, yeah, you were right.
Your pH isn't 6.3. So
yeah.
But the point is, that was on a test. That was testing on a new tank.
Yeah.
If you test a new tank, it's going to be 8.3, more or less, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So you don't need to test it on a new tank. And I just think that my opinion is not that pH doesn't matter. pH does matter. If your pH is 7.2, you got problems.
Matters.
Yeah. And you know.
Or 12.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. But and if your pH is not suppressed, is a decent level, 8.3 or whatever, your corals are growing more quickly. So it actually does have a significant impact. Yeah. And so Ryan from BRS once said that he's going to put this. I think, I can't remember how he phrased it, but he basically said, "I think that we will come to realise that pH is the most important parameter."
Yeah.
And we haven't got to that point as yet. But so it's not the pH doesn't matter. It does matter, of course it does. And actually, I've spent a lot of time and effort dosing Kalkwasser and going all the things, all the ways that you can increase your pH, opening windows, an air line from your skimmer outside, Kalkwasser, CO2 scrubbers, you name it. I've done it. And I've made lots of videos encouraging people to try Kalkwasser. And I dose I don't use Kalkwasser anymore, but I use a pH rich dosing supplement that is basically does the same job as Kalkwasser. So it does matter, right? And it matters to me, actually. And I think it's important. I think it's something that you should think about in certain circumstances. My issue, though, is that what I see all the time is people misunderstanding when you need to worry about or when you need to think about pH.
Yeah.
And this is, so I've made a couple of notes, so I make sure I say everything I wanted to say. So first thing I was saying is, what I see all the time is that people think it's more important than it actually is. People think pH is everything, and that's all I need to think about. People also think that it will fix their problems. So if I've got issues in my tank, my corals are dying, it must be the pH.
Yeah.
And people also think it's an easy way of making your corals go from average to very good, or fixing your growth problems, or making them better coloration, all that sort of stuff. And that is misguided.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. And I think that in my experience, if your water chemistry is off, your basics, your salinity, your temperature, your alkalinity, your calcium, your magnesium, your nitrate, and your phosphate, having spot on pH won't make an ounce of difference.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
The absolute fundamentals, those basic parameters, are the most important things. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you've got those all over the place, I don't care what your pH is. You do not need to think about it. You need to fix all of those things. pH is the cherry on the icing of the cake. And actually, in my experience, the benefits that pH has given me on my tanks, it's not insignificant. It's definitely worth dosing Kalkwasser, for example.
Yeah.
But the benefit it's gave me was a growth increase, but not a growth increase that I could see with my eyes. I didn't come down in the morning and be like, bloody hell, double the size, or even 6 months later, notice how faster they're growing. Because I was dosing Kalkwasser and 2-part.
Yeah.
When I started dosing Kalkwasser, I was expecting, because that does the same thing as 2-part, I was expecting that I'd end up dosing less 2-part. My consumption of 2-part doubled. So my corals were using up, they were so refreshed. They were like, amazing, I'm so healthy. I can use twice as much 2 parts. So I know they're growing quicker because of that, right? So twice as much alkalinity, and on top of that, however much alkalinity they were getting from the calculator. So it does make a difference in growth. I didn't actually notice. I didn't notice that 6 months after starting calc, suddenly my tank was absolutely ram-packed and it was full. Apart from Tropic Thunder, which grows like crazy. And it did make an improvement to coloration of acros, coloration and health. But actually, the only time I noticed that, and it was a minor improvement, was when I took photos back to back 2 months apart. And even when I looked at them first time round, I didn't notice a difference. It was only when I made a video about it and watched that video back, I was like, actually, there is an improvement there, and noticeable on maybe half of the corals. So minimal improvement on health and coloration. And lots of people say didn't really notice a difference on color, most people, and an improvement in growth in theory anyway, on paper. So that's what it's going to give you. It's not going to fix your problems. If your tank is looking awful, your corals are dying, it's not going to, there will be 1% of situations where actually that's what low suppressed pH is what's causing all your problems, because it's down to 7.5 unbelievably, but almost everybody else is not going to fix your problems. It's not why your tank is looking bad. It's not why your corals aren't growing. That's not what matters. And the video I mentioned earlier was from Worldwide Corals. So there's a Worldwide Corals video is wicked, and it's not there's 2 people who do it. There's Vic, who's the main guy, and the other guy with the beard, whose name I've forgotten. But anyway, but he's brilliant, isn't he? And he's like and he's a straight talker. There's no nonsense with him. And he made a video in the last week that was talking about the basics of the most important things you need to know. I can't remember, it was like the basics of water chemistry. And I was like, I guarantee he's not going to mention pH. And I watched that whole video, and he mentions salinity, alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, nitrate, and phosphate. And he did say at the end, he said, we can have a conversation about pH later. But the things he was like, right, this was aimed at like beginners. What do you need to know? It's those things. Those are the things you need to get right. Forget about pH, basically, because it's probably okay in most tanks.
Yeah.
That's especially new tanks. That's a sweeping statement, and there will be plenty of situations where it's not okay and it needs boosting. But for most people, it will be okay. So basically, that's it. I think that if you're not looking at the basics, salinity, alkalinity, magnesium, calcium, nitrate, and phosphate, and you're not testing them every week, every month, whatever, you're wasting your time with pH. Those are the most important things by an absolute mile. And that's what I think people get wrong about pH. People think pH number 1, everything else number 2.
Yes. That's obviously, I do lots of consultations with beginners, and there's something that went round. I think it was last year or the year before. There was some videos. I know Chris Meckley spoke about it. I know BRS did a video on, and they literally tested it. They said, look, this is a piece like this. Obviously, this isn't exactly accurate, but they went, look, this is a piece of Hystrix with like normal pH, and this is a piece of Hystrix with elevated pH, and there's a 50% increase of growth, which is great because you can actually see that it does make a difference. However, it's more dangerous for a beginner to try to turbocharge their tank than it is to just run a tank normally. And what I ask is, why does a beginner need to turbocharge their tank? It's like your first car being a Ferrari rather than like a Ford Focus or something. It's just like, you don't need that. And you need to there's a learning experience. And I think it's dangerous, the amount that is focused on these days, because I think it causes more harm than good. Sometimes I'll say to people, I say, oh, what's your alkalinity? They go, I don't know, but this is my pH. And I'm like, no, I don't care what your pH is. Tell me all the other parameters, because those are the ones that have been like fundamental for years and years and years. Those are the ones that to stick to. Now, as I said, I don't disagree that there is an effect with higher pH. Now, what I will tell you is that I have not checked the pH on the coral farm ever, within reason. When I say ever, I put at some point I calibrated my pH probes when I first set it up, but other than that, I never check it. I never checked my 1,000-liter tank. I never checked my 600-liter tank. I never checked my 400-liter tank, and I don't check the water box. So if I can have success with coral for 17 years without doing it, does that show that I couldn't have success with coral for 17 years without checking my alkalinity? I can assure you that. Or without
not.
Yeah, or without checking my salinity, or without checking my calcium or magnesium. But I can have it without checking my pH. So is it really that as important as it's now being told that it is?
This is hang on a second. Here we go. And these are, because you should always show your results. These are your corals. This is from a while ago.
Yeah.
This is from my visit to your farm.
Yeah.
And your corals, I'm not going to keep showing, but your corals are very nice indeed. And you've had a lot of success. And that's the thing. So you talked about it being dangerous. It's because, and the only reason it's dangerous is because people focus on that, and people look at it, and people often think, pH is the solution to all my problems. Or if I get pH right, I don't need to worry about anything else. And it's just like, and for a start, in a new tank, you're wasting your time. pH, just don't even bother to. You need to test alkalinity in the first couple of months if you've got corals. pH, just don't. It will be fine. Don't worry about it at all. But people often think, I need pH. That's the one thing I need to do because it's so important, and that's not it. If you've there are times when it's really worthwhile doing. On my Aquapora dominated tank, that was a couple of years old, well worth looking at. And actually, my pH was, I can't remember what it was when I started checking, but it was low. It was like 7.8 or something like that. And so when I boosted it up to between 8.1 to 8.3, roughly, or 8.2 to 8.4, it was better, marginally in terms of appearance, but growth in theory certainly much better. So it does have an impact. It's worth doing for some people.
Yeah,
but just and this isn't like, if you've been in the hobby for years, you really know your stuff, you've got an amazing tank or whatever, you can ignore this video.
yeah.
But
if you've got one frag of zoas or something like that, you see, it's not what you need. Basically,
no, it just doesn't matter at all. It was not. It doesn't matter, but it's just not worth. It's not worth thinking about. The other things are worth thinking about, and this is the video I was talking about from Worldwide Corals, understanding your tank, breaking down the chemistry, coral chemistry. So this is everything, all the parameters, all the basics of water chemistry that he looks at. It's a brilliant guide for beginners, because it tells you, it's like, look, these are roughly what you need to be aiming for. It doesn't matter if they're not exact, but these are the things that matter, and these are the things you need to test. And it's just really, really good. And I agree with everything he says in it. Not that he needs me to verify him.
The hobby is very much self-taught. There's nowhere you can really go for, like, it's hard. I know you're going to say, you can go to YouTube, but as someone said in the comments just a second ago, two well-known people, so Worldwide Corals did a talk saying, don't worry about pH. And then an hour later, Ryan did it from BRS, two very well-respected people saying pH is really important. So who do you listen to?
But then the thing is, they are not disagreeing with each other. If you put those two in a room and said, hang on a second, you said this and you said that, what they would both clarify what they mean. It's just you can't explain everything in every video, can you? So,
but there's lots of things. Like for example, if you want to learn to drive, you have a driving instructor. Or if you want to learn, I don't know, lots of things where you have some sort of level of instruction. Whereas the hobby is sort of like, you learn through piecing pieces of information from all different sources, and some of those sources contradict each other, and it's like there's no school of reefing, if you see what I mean. It's like you have to just, like, to some extent, it's luck as well. It's luck depending on what the YouTube algorithm gives you. and just because someone has loads of followers does not mean that they have loads of knowledge. And that is true. Like, I don't know what those acros are. You know, the acros I got today, couldn't tell you a name of any of them, not a single one. But people would expect that of me because I have a coral farm, and because now I can keep them alive. That doesn't mean I know the name of them. If you see, what
you just don't care about fancy names of acros.
I don't care. No, I don't care about fancy names, and I only care if it's growing and if it's basing out and if it's colourful. So, but yeah, so I actually think it's quite hard to come into the hobby these days. And it probably was hard before, but I actually do. I think it's that the abundance of information, I'm not sure it's necessarily a good thing. There was only like one source of information originally for me. It was Mr. Saltwater Tank and some books. So
Yeah. Well, so when I was coming up, it was BRS was mostly they were just doing 52 weeks of reefing and Ultimate Reef. But Ultimate Reef is it was the same with all forums. Some parts are brilliant because there are loads of people on there who are really experienced, know the stuff really well, but other parts are terrible because some dickhead who's been in the hobby for 2 months will think they know the answer. They'll tell you what they think and it's wrong, and you're like, oh cool, this person's had 500 posts, he must know what he's doing. And I did that. I was a year into the hobby.
That was me.
Exactly. I used to post because I'd find something out and someone asked a question, I'd be like, this is the answer. And it turned like you could look back and it'd be like, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're trying to do harm. They're trying to be helpful.
I'm not really on any of the forums anymore, but I do have an account on some of the on the forums, and you can see like posts from years and years ago, and I can see myself regurgitating information to people like that. I didn't earn that information. I didn't have any like knowledge of that information. I was just like, oh, I'll help this person, but some of it was wrong.
Yeah.
So, and that's dangerous as well because people want to help, but they also like, do they actually know, or are they just saying something that they've been told?
Yeah, true. So Bish Bash Ash asks a question about Chris Meckley. Says, what do you think of Chris Meckley's methods where they dose Calcwaster to maintain a high pH and disregard alg? So what Chris Meckley does at ACI Aquaculture, or what he did anyway, I don't know if he still does this, is he doesn't care about his alkalinity. Is roughly what he says, and I'm paraphrasing, so don't take this isn't exactly what he said. Go and watch his videos if you want to know what he said. But basically, he doesn't care about alkalinity. He's got he uses an apex that pins. He says to his apex, I want my pH to be 8.3 or between 8.28 and 8.32 or whatever. And if it's below that, I want you to dose X, Y, and Z. And if it's above that, I want you to stop dosing X, Y, and Z. And to achieve that, he doses Calcwaster, calcium hydroxide, but not only Calcwaster. It's not just, that's it. And the thing is, and people watch that and they're like, oh, you did that with Calcwaster. Great, I'm going to do that. And it's like, no, he doesn't actually do that. First off, he's running an enormous wholesale coral facility. He's there 24/7, etc., etc. He's got all sorts of staff and blah, 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 blah. Totally different from a normal tank. But he doesn't just dose Calcwaster. He doses sodium hydroxide and what's the other one? Potassium hydroxide and other hydroxides that are so spicy, he doesn't want to tell people what they are in case people start using them and they burn your hands or whatever. So he doesn't just do that with calc. He does it with all sorts of stuff. And if you're not copying his method properly, then you're not doing his method. And he is not wrong about pH. I've no doubt that it does well for him. And he says it's great, but that you can't copy and paste that to 100-liter nano tank.
Yeah.
It just don't. And why? So, and if someone, and this is the thing with this, so if someone like that has discovered this new method, okay, that's one person that's had success on a massive scale with using some very spicy chemicals, with all sorts of equipment that most people don't have, staff on hand, all these sorts of things. Why would you take that when someone's just said about it as well? You don't see videos every week showing you everything, all this sort of stuff. Why would you take that and listen to that rather than the 20 years of success that people like Coral Euphoria, Abe Tirona, talk about, where it's and Worldwide Coral is saying all you need to know about is the basics? Why would you suddenly throw away all of that and say this person's done one thing, I'm going to listen to that? And if you talk to Chris Meckley properly, I bet he wouldn't say no, you don't need to just disregard the basics of flow, lighting, water chemistry, all that. And so what I think about what he's doing is fantastic. I love that he can experiment on that kind of level, and to have the results he's doing is fantastic. I think it's brilliant. But would I copy that in my tank? Hell no.
No.
I'm not using the chemicals he's using, and even if I could, I don't. So he replaces Calcwaster every 2 days. I don't know how often he calibrates his pH probe and changes it, but I bet it's more often than I do. I'm bloody lazy when it comes to calibrating.
I've done it once in 4 years, so exactly. a lot more than me.
and so if your probe was off and actually it was reading 8 instead of 8.3, then suddenly everything's crazy.
If you've got an army of people who work for you, one of them can do the probes every Monday or whatever.
Yeah, knock yourself out. So what works for him, fantastic. But there's no way I'm doing that. Hell no.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of. I think it's brilliant and I love it. but I just don't think that I would never apply that to my tank. And the danger is with videos like that and videos like my Calcrusser videos where I've said, hey, look, this is great, pH has made a difference, is that people don't take the proper message. They take what they want to hear and they say, oh, pH is the solution to all my problems. No. No one said that.
It's interesting because every so often I have a dose of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And I kind of understand why people are doing this, because at one point, increasing your alkalinity was the way of increasing your growth.
Yeah.
And it has to be balanced with calcium. So my alkalinity, I used to run my alkalinity at 12. And I did it for years. And I used to run my calcium at, like, I think it was like between 450, 500, and my magnesium 1,500. And then I would have high lighting and high flow to keep up with it. Did it have a difference? Did it make a difference to my coral growth? I have no idea. Because if it's growing 1 millimeter a day, or 2 or 1.5 millimeters per day, you don't notice. Yeah. You literally don't notice. So why?
But the thing is, but you're desperate for growth at the start, because corals grow so slowly, especially in a new tank in the first 6 months to a year. You just want it to be grown out, don't you? And so that's why you go looking for things like, someone will say, if you run higher temperatures, then it will grow quicker. Oh, I'll do that then. So if you run a higher alkalinity, I'll do that then. But it's like, just chill out and just let it come to you.
Yeah. The thing I find most rewarding is when the coral just first starts to base out. It's not when it's got like grown a few heads or anything like that. As soon as it's got just over the coral glue, even if it's just a millimeter, it doesn't matter. I'm going, this coral is in an environment which is right enough for it to grow. And that's rewarding for me. So once I've seen that, I'm like, nah, I know it's growing now, so I don't need to see like 5 like branches will come off of it. That will just come in time. It's just that first little bit of growth, which every time I put a new frag in and you see that, you go, yeah, I'm doing something right. That's what you should learn to enjoy. Learn to enjoy the really, really small things, but you don't need to have, as I said, 5 or 10 branches to then go, oh, I now enjoy this. Enjoy the journey.
And the other thing is, even if you do manage to turbocharge it, so that tank behind me is a year old. Hang on, let me see if I can get it to focus on the tank instead. I can't. But that's I've just done an update, a very brief. I've just done a video update. It's quite grown out and it's looking all right. But I ran Calcrusser on that probably for 6 months, and I've since switched to Reef Sediments pH Plus, which is a rich in pH solution. So I have elevated pH in that. It's still not. That's not completely covered. It doesn't mean you get crazy growth. You can do, but that's fairly typical. So you're not, even if you do manage to turbocharge your tank, doesn't mean it's going to be there in 3 months or 6 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Just going to interject quickly because some people were saying this in the chat. What was your first car?
My first car?
Yeah.
My first car was oh my God, it wasn't a car. I had a red postman van which had the sticker removed. Basically, that's what I had. It was a
Royal Mail van.
It was a Citroen Berlingo. It was, and it probably had like 70,000 miles or something on it. That was my first car. My first official car was a Peugeot 206 with racing seats.
Oh, nice. We will continue the pH and reefing chat in a second, but in the chat, and in the comment section afterwards, what was your first car? Mine was a 1 litre Rover 100. Not even. You don't know what? No, it was a Rover Metro. Sorry, not even a Rover 100. A Rover Metro.
Rover Metro. My dad got me the van, and you can tell he hated me. So I'll be honest. I've driven a van for years. I literally don't care. Not even remotely. Like what I drive. Sometimes it's actually better having a van than a car.
I don't need to tell you how much ladies,
that looks like a babe
how many ladies I got. It was an absolute babe magnet.
Google Citroen Berlingo. I like from I don't know how from 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago, and it's got to be red. It's got to be red.
2012 red. Okay, that's a lot better than. How did you get insured on one of those?
It was a company van.
That's crazy.
It didn't look like that. It was worse than that, I can assure you. But that was. Okay. I remember when Dad was like, "This is your first car. You're going to ruin it anyway. So just appreciate it." And I was like, "Why? But all my friends have cars. Why have I got a van?" But it was because it was he owned a company that had a load of vans, so I just got one of those, and that was it.
Oh, you might be on for 10 reefing points as the best car. RS 160, Vauxhall Astra, Ford Model T, Opel GT, Ford Anglia, Vauxhall Nova GSI. Oh, mate, Gary, I really wanted a Vauxhall Nova GSI.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, they were so cool. But it was like a 1.4 and I couldn't afford the insurance. Austin A40, Vauxhall Nova, Austin Mini. There's some crack. I'm going to watch this back later because we can't have half an hour.
A Ford Cortina was my dad's first car. I think. Or was it his first car? Or he always wanted a Cortina, or I can't remember. But
Vauxhall Nova. Do you know? So the Vauxhall Nova didn't sell in Spain. Do you know why?
No.
Because Nova in Spain in Spanish means won't go.
Really?
Yeah. Same with the Toyota MR2, because MR2 in French, MR2 means shit.
It's funny because you look at the cars now and they all basically look awful compared to what cars look like these days. They got a bit more character to them, a bit more like, like rigid edges.
Yeah. Honda Legend. There's some quality car. I'll come back and get that later.
I had a Skoda Octavia, also a company car. Like
Ford F-150. No way. V8, only in America would your first car be a V8. I'm so jealous of that. Mine was a 1 litre 4-cylinder. That's so cool.
It's yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so pH doesn't matter, but it kind of does.
The end.
It's just basically it's not the solution to all your problems. And actually, I think most people who watch this are probably not within the first year of the hobby.
No.
So but so it's more of a discussion. But I actually think Rover 216, nice. I think that that's the summary. It doesn't really. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's just that there are so many other things that you should be thinking about before you think about pH.
Yeah.
And I think
just keep a coral alive before you're trying to get 50% extra growth or whatever they said on BRS. Yeah. Just keep it alive.
Yeah. It just sounds so appealing, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the other thing as well. Do you want to know a secret? No one likes a tank that's fully grown in. No one likes a tank that's fully grown in. A tank that's fully grown in, completely successful, is boring. You cannot go to the fish shop anymore to buy new stuff. So, I mean, you're a bit different because you sort of like to get rid of corals here and there and change things around.
There's always space.
Whereas with me, I like put it in and then that's it. I'm like, that coral's there. That will be there for the next 10 years.
Yeah. But there you go. I probably missed all sorts of stuff on the pH subject.
Triumph Spitfire. I don't know what that is, but I need to Google it because it looks cool. It sounds cool.
Triumph only sell motorbikes now and haven't sold cars for like 40 years. So they used to stink of petrol.
That actually does look like a cool car. Is that their first car? Cool.
It's not a bad car.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Stupid cat. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, so yeah, there was other stuff in the chat on pH. I'm sure that I've missed. So I'll catch up with that later. But I don't think you and I agree, which is amazing. Josh, that's it. It was Josh at Worldwide Corals.
Yeah,
thank you.
Right.
And this is a nice comment. Just use soda ash, bruv. So actually, and that's the thing. Really, if you're using soda ash, which is some of the 2-part dosing solutions are based on soda ash, that will do enough to keep your pH at a level that's not terrible. And if you're really bothered, then use Kalkwasser instead. But soda ash based 2-part dosing solutions is fine, and then you just never need to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I'm using pH plus ZPH plus Reef Element stuff that's sodium hydroxide based. I don't test my pH. I don't care. It's fine. Actually, I have tested. I tested it manually.
It's fine. Did you just say it's fine?
It is.
This is that's the one thing that when I see it on the forums or on Facebook or in the consultations, it's like when people say it's fine, I'm like, what does fine mean? But
I tested it manually a couple of months ago, and the lowest it got was 8.2.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it gets up to. 8.5 maybe at the worst, at the most, not much. I thought so. Fine.
Have you ever had it where your sand has turned hard, or parts of your sand go crusty?
So that's a thing that's said about Calquasser. So I ran Calquasser for I think about 2 years on my Aquapod Dominator tank before, and when I broke it down, the sand was just sand. It was totally fine. It wasn't there was no problems with it. I've seen Reef Bum made a video where his sand was like concrete. It was this massive slab, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because I dose into a higher flow area, or because he'd been dosing it for longer, or he doses more. What I don't know what it is. Well, he has a deeper sound bed or whatever. So anaerobic malarkey. I don't know, but it can happen. Yeah, but I
had chunks of it once where my sand bed was, and it was specifically around the rocks area. And when I looked into it, they said that it's
low flow.
Well, there were two reasons. There were two theories. One of them was that it was something to do with bacteria. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. I looked into this, which is what's turning it like that. But the other one was that it's low. Yeah, the pH in that area is lower because of some sort of waste or something, which if you think about it, if you think of waste products get stuck under the rocks, don't they? Which then could. This is what someone wrote. I don't know if this is true. Is lowering the pH of that specific local area, and then
localized,
and then dissolving the rock, dissolving the sand, which is what's solidifying it. So I don't know if that's true. That's just
it would have to be pretty low pH to start dissolving sand. But
I don't know. As I said, I just thought I'd looked into it a little while ago. There's no facts here. So
there are no facts here apart from.
And again, I just got that off a forum. I got that off a forum. The guy might be laughing now, going, "Huh? Yeah, I was the one who wrote that."
Too much. Ben Malloy, g'day. Nothing beats a classic Australian V8. My ideal car at the moment is a Vauxhall Maloo, or a Holden Maloo, I think it is in Australia. No one will know what that is. It's a V8 pickup, a Ute. All my friends take the mick out of me, and my missus takes the mick out of me, but it's so cool.
I could definitely not see you riding that car, driving that car.
6.2 litre V8, massive flatbed. And
What is it you have at the moment? Tesla?
Yeah, electric.
Yeah.
The amount of problems like that car's giving, it's almost 4 years old now. The lease is expiring and we're going to get something else. But it's like, it's not like with a car, the engine will start coughing or whatever. There'll be mechanical problems. With my car, the Tesla, it's like a mobile phone. It crashes. And then you get all sorts of warning lights flash up. It's just so weird. But
I always thought that that they're meant to have hardly any issues because there's hardly any moving parts.
Mechanically, amazing. You don't have to service it. But just all the software. I have constant issues with it. I've had airbag problems. I've had you name it. I've had it. Charging issues left. It currently won't charge from home. It will only charge when you're out and about. And Tesla, they took it back in, tried to fix it, replaced a part, sent it back to me. Same problem. And now I can't get another appointment until next month. Anyway, first world problems.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm being accused of clickbait.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
PH title a bit clickbait.
You like a bit of clickbait, don't you?
That's the thing is that title. What does it say? I can't remember. Why you shouldn't focus on pH is the title.
That's not clickbait. You shouldn't focus on pH. That's not clickbait at all.
The thumbnail says pH doesn't matter, but that's the reason that I use something like that. It's not clickbait because this is a discussion about why pH doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But just that sort of thing, you need to have something that gets people's attention because there will be people who watch this who will be like, "I thought it did matter. I thought it was the only thing." And that's who I'm trying to reach. So it's achieved the goal. And then there's a half an hour discussion of why actually the nuances of that. Because if you can't put everything you're going to say in a thumbnail or a title, that's not the point of a thumbnail or a title. So.
Yeah. True. I think you should, you know how you like to get comments up on the screen and then read them out? I think you should read James's comment because I think it applies to you very much so.
Can't see it, I'm afraid.
Can you actually see it or not?
No, don't see
you
that.
Definitely can see it.
See it no. I can see the block button. 1 second.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of James, member questions.
Yes.
Now we've done the PH chat. Right. Lots of member questions. Number 1 from ML Rubber. This is a good one for you, Ryan. Blue clove polyps, aka pain in my arse. Any best tips to remove it, or is it going to be to remove the rock? Is it going to be a remove the rock jobby? P.S. Nearly aqua.
Remove the rock is what I would do.
Yeah.
If you look, you can keep the rock. Just remove the rock. Leave it out of the tank for however long, or do people bleach it? They do all sorts of things, don't they? But
Don't boil it.
If you can remove the rock, that's the thing to do.
Yeah, because you could pick it off bit by bit, but you'll even if you took it out and picked off as much as you could, you'd still miss 30% of it, and it would grow back. Okay.
And it'll probably some of it will spread.
Yeah. If it's only on a little bit, then you might be able to get it, or you might be able to pull the rock out, putty over it, and get away with it. But if it's everywhere, then bin that rock and get a new bit. Tom Bish Bash Bosh says, I haven't done a question in ages, and I'm going to give you both a question regarding freshwater.
Hit me, come on. My freshwater hyper focus that I had like for a week has gone now. So let's see how we do.
Because I know how exciting it is, but it's on topic. I've had test strips which measure my pH. Oh, Tom, no. I've had test strips which measure my pH, and from my memory, it's to do with acidity. Why would this contribute to tank health, and is surely more of a testament to quality of your water rather than actually causing issues? So pH is effectively an acidity measure. pH stands for percentage hydrogen. There's all sorts of scientific complexities, but if you have a low pH, it means that you've got carbonic acid in your water, CO2, and CO2 is acidic. So if you do something to remove CO2, like dose calcwasser, which gets rid of it, then your pH goes up and your acidity goes down. So it is acidity. You're right. Although I don't know how that relates to freshwater though. If you're asking about pH in freshwater, I got no idea.
It's probably like 7, because that's what pH of normal, like tap water, isn't it? Actually, it does make a difference freshwater, because some fish like to have really.
Oh yeah, fish. Yeah, completely. But it is to do with acidity, yes. But how that relates to freshwater, I got no idea. Skier Sailor Biker Guy, not a question, but I went to the deep an aquarium in Hull. Long way. It's a very long way for me. It was absolutely fantastic. Would highly recommend. A pretty good SPS tank and some brilliant fish and displays. Do you know where Kingston upon Hull is, Ryan?
If it's a long way away from you, it's even further away from me. Correct. I know where Hull is.
Northeast of England. Long way. But cool. If you're ever up there, go to the deep. Big place, the deep, from what I understand. Bish Bash Ash. Ooh, Bish Bash Bosh. Bish Bash Ash. Says, I've just bought a 6-foot water box tank. Nice upgrade, bit of an upgrade from the Red Sea Nano. No idea how I'm going to afford to light it. Yeah, what lights offer the best bang for buck? It will be mainly LPS with a few easier acros over the very top. Is there anything wrong with just lighting half the tank for the first year? I think it may take a little while to fill the tank with coral. Have I replied to that? Oh no, someone else has. I wouldn't light half the tank. I would prefer, if you're only going to buy 2 lights, for example, I'd rather have 2 lights lighting all the tank than like it just look really weird. But best bang for your buck, anything secondhand. There's loads. Yeah. Gen 4 radions, or no, Gen 5 radions are really good because they give really good spread, and they'll be dirt cheap now. There's loads of secondhand ones. My Reef Factory Reef flares, the medium ones I had, they kicked out an absolute ton of par for the wattage. So they were you can ramp them up, you can mount them high and blast them with like the spread isn't very good, so you need to mount them high. But there's loads of options. But T5s.
Something that you should probably do is go and look or try to find a light that you like. Not necessarily the cheapest light, or not necessarily, because it makes a difference. And you know this yourself. You change your lights, or you used to change your lights all the time. But I have had quite a lot of experience with different types of light, and I can assure you, like when you find a light you like, it makes the tank better than if it's a light that you don't like. A light that you don't like, it actually makes it worse.
Yeah, it's true. That's the thing. And so I've said Radion. If you're asking me for a recommendation, Kessel. I like Kessel.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything secondhand. There's loads of Radion secondhand if you're looking for budget stuff.
I have Radions, and I've had AI Radions. I've got the GHL ones on there. I've never had a Kessel. I like. I've had the Red Sea lights. the Radions are my favorite. I know people will go, oh, you know, you like the Radions because everyone likes Radions because of the marketing, whatever. No, I genuinely like the Radion light. I like the blue light that they produce.
They're popular for a reason, and whilst they are very good at marketing and packaging and all that sort of stuff, that's not the only. If they were the best marketing company in the world and their product was no good, no one would buy it. So they're very good. They're popular for a reason. But
and most, like, if I did a lot of research into like coral farms. I don't know if it's the same across the world. A lot, like the majority of coral farmers or people that are growing are using Radions. There's a reason for that. It's because they work. But if you go into a shop and you see a tank with Radions, and you go, oh, I don't like that. Or you should go, some people find it's funny, some people find the Red Sea lights too blue. You found them not blue enough, didn't you? I think you said. Is that right?
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And
they were too blue for me, I found.
People said the same about Kessels. Some people say their Kessels are too blue. There's no way they're too blue. Absolutely no way. So the Red Sea ones, some people said that they look a bit purple. And if you get the settings wrong, in inverted commas, they do look a bit purple. The way I've set them up, they look fine.
Yeah.
But they do. They all look slightly different. But yeah, I never get why people say that the Kessels are too blue, because they don't do that deep blue, deep indigo 450 nanometer blue. They just don't.
So going back to the original question, what is more important than anything else? More important than how much par they put out, how much they cost, or anything? Find a light that you like.
Oh.
Yeah, pH. Find one that you actually like looking at, because it is the most important thing for your, like, visually for your tank.
Yeah.
That's what a tank is. A tank is a visual piece of furniture, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very true. Matters. The Kessels look nice.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You can call around some shops. If you go, I want to see one, you literally call a shop, go, do you have any Kessels in? And they go, yeah. Do you have any on a display tank I can see? If they say no, don't go there. Don't, you see what I mean? Like,
boycott
it. No, the whole point is you're traveling to see the light, not to just go see another fish shop.
Yeah, very good. Okay, next question. James. This is not about micro penises. I have some black sponge growing on my rock. It looks super cool, like something out of Stranger Things. But Reef to Reef seems to be a bit divided. Shocking, I know, whether or not it's a good thing. What are your thoughts? Keep it on UKIP from orbit. And I asked for a photo, and he said he posted a photo. Basically, with sponges, if it's photosynthetic, my understanding is probably a bad thing. If it's non-photosynthetic, it's probably fine. This is the black. It looks like there's a sponge called chicken liver sponge.
Yeah.
That's
bad.
More
grey though.
Is it? Okay. Liver, that's a bad photo, and this isn't his photo actually. I don't think so anyway. But I got no idea.
That would concern me.
Yeah,
that would concern me. Yeah. I don't know. I said I don't know what it is, but the fact he can get a photo of it suggests to me that that's in the light.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not under a rock somewhere. That's all like mixing in and solidifying your live rock, which is good because it holds it together better. And it creates a filter that looks like it's out in the open, and when they're out in the open, they spread. Yeah,
there you go. So I think that's the general rule, isn't it? If it's photosynthetic, it's probably bad. If it's non-photosynthetic, it's probably good. On my first ever tank, when I broke it down, I went to lift out one of the rocks, and as I grabbed the rock, it had this really slimy thing. It was a massive sponge on the underside. It really freaked me out.
Yeah,
but it was a non-photosynthetic one. I forgot to take a photo of this. Next one is from two more from Skier Sailor Biker Guy. To Reef Dork. Why have you chosen not to use DJ switches on your new build? Are they not the ultimate organization? So this is probably because I've just sold a couple of DJ switches on Ultimate Reef. I've had a massive clear out over the last 2 months. I've sold $2.5 grand's worth of stuff. That's fish tank stuff, just stuff I've had lying around. Camera gear, audio gear, all this sort of stuff I don't use, and I was like, I need the money because I spent a lot of money as well on various things. So I've had a massive clear out, and I cleared out some DJ switches, so that's where he will have seen it. I do have them still, though. I have 4 on my main tank, and I have 1 on the Cade as well that's built in. They're brilliant. I just had 2 that I didn't need anymore, but they're fantastic. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Transcension. Here we go. Transcension. So DJ switches are these. So they're 8-gang plug sockets basically, but they're individually switched, and they're just wicked. They're cable management heaven. Last question. This is again from Skier Sailor Biker. He says, I've heard about anti-glug water containers, potentially from you, Reef Dork. Do you know where you can purchase them in the UK?
They're the Red Sea ones, aren't they?
Correct. No, not Red Sea. No. They're just generic. So this is, if you Google, they're on Amazon, and if you Google 25-litre anti-glide container, this is what they look like. And they are one of my favourite discoveries. They're just absolutely fantastic because they don't spill water everywhere. They're really neat and tidy. They're just amazing. And they 14 quid.
I just see, even just with that, you've just reminded me something I need, something else I need for the show. I'm going to need probably like 15 of them because to take my water up there, I'm going to need loads of them. So I don't even know. I've got, I think I've got like 5 or 6, but I'm going to need to somehow accumulate them from other people. Have you got any spares?
I've got one spare.
One.
Yeah, 25 litres.
Yeah. Because I need to write that down so I don't forget. Because imagine getting it on the day, I'm like, I've got everything, got my banners, got everything sorted. I'm like,
water.
I can't transport the water.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If anyone lives nearby, near Horsham, and you've got those things, and you don't mind me borrowing them for 3 days, get in contact because that's what I need. So there you go. This is the good thing about being on the live stream. I go, this is what I need, and then someone goes, don't worry, I've got it sorted for you.
Yeah. And Chris Allen says, just drill a small hole in the handle to let air out when you pour. That does something, but honestly, when you've had an anti-glide container, they're just so good. And if you drill a hole, sometimes you get water spilling out if you pour it wrong or whatever. But the anti-glide containers are just epic. They're just so good. Yeah. Changed my life, Ryan.
That changed your life.
That's all the member questions done. Yeah. What is the Prestige Reef Fish of the Week?
So the fish of the week I have picked because I saw a picture of one today, actually, and I always thought that they were basically just an expensive bicolor. So the fish I'm going for is a I believe it's pronounced joculata angelfish, or in this one, Coco's pygmy, which sounds different. But so this looks like a bicolor angelfish, which is wearing blue eyeliner. However, when you actually look at a bicolor to that, they're actually quite different. The bicolor has a far more defined line. And the thing that was interesting for me is that they actually look like a flame angel that someone has painted as a bicolor. They have the same body shape as a flame angel, but the coloration of a bicolor. So if you look at them, but bicolors have quite a distinct body shape in comparison to other dwarf angelfish. So... yeah, so that was the fish. Actually, I've just realised, I didn't even realise that the bicolor also have that eyeliner, but it stretches over their forehead.
Yeah.
So, if you saw those two fish and you didn't see the prices of them, have you got a preference?
I like the shape of the joculator.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like the shape.
I prefer the colour of the bicolor. But I think I'd go for the bicolor, to be honest.
So there you go. You just saved yourself.
And I'd save myself 700 quid.
Yeah.
But then both of them would eat my corals, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to see, because some people love that fish, but they only love it because it's £750.
Yeah.
So, I just very quickly before we go to the coral, to the coral of the week, I forgot to mention this earlier. There used to be days where you would go to a fish shop in an evening. Do you remember? There was like 30 people there. It was all the local people. They would do it once a month. No one does it anymore, do they?
That was before my time, really.
There's no real...
You get that like once a year, places do that. Like Reefkeeper Moss End does an event like that once a year, but not once a month. No.
But the reason I thought about it is because we're a very isolated, you've heard me say this before, group of weirdos. Yeah, but one of the things, but it's amazing. You had a great day yesterday. You had a memorable day yesterday because you went to a fish shop and you met some people that like spoke to you about fish. I had a great day today with Jamie because I went to a shop with Jamie and we spoke about fish. So why do they not do that? And why are there there's no clubs anymore? It's all disintegrated.
There are some places. So a place near me, Aquatic Emporium, if you go there on a Saturday morning, there's usually the same group of people who turn up and have a chat, basically. So there are still some places that do that, but it's not on the scale as because I didn't ever really see that before I was in the hobby. But it's not on the same scale as what I understand it was before at all.
Yeah, I remember those were some of my most memorable nights in fish keeping because the shop was open, like it closed at 6 and then it opened at like 7 and then like it was open till 10. And like all the corals were being sold, all the fish were being sold because when you get fish keepers together, they like encourage each other. They like, yeah, go on, you should buy that, go on. But it's just sad that it just doesn't happen. I thought, well, what's stopping me from organizing something like that?
I do like the idea. So I like the idea of doing something. The guys I was talking to yesterday said they did a barbecue recently, and I wanted to do something like that, not at my house.
Yeah.
Because the missus wouldn't stomach it for a start, but maybe with like 100 people and like hire a venue or something cheap. So it's not, you don't have to charge 100 quid a ticket and not trying to make money, but just to try to cover the cost or something. So something like that, I think it'd be quite cool. But...
yeah, I don't know. Just because I even thought like I could have it. I couldn't do it now. You have to do it in the summer. But see, I would have a barbecue here with people who could come here, but I would only want, I don't know, 20 people. This is my house. How many, like if I said, do you want 20 random strangers coming into your house? Not strangers, but like most of them are people that I don't know very well. Coming into your house, you wouldn't, it's just not because I think they'd steal anything, just because I don't want 20 people in my house.
Yeah. And you might find 100 people turn up or 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the other thing. Yeah. But I thought I could have like a barbecue and a little marquee thing outside or whatever. And
I'm up for that. Invite a special group of special people.
Yeah.
And then I'll put the invite on Facebook and we'll
you'll put out my address again.
Yeah.
Anyway, car of the week. Now that we're going back, I like to take us off on a tangent occasionally, don't I? So as I said, shop today closing down. They had a few corals which were the shop owner actually said to me very kindly, he just said, look, like, do you want these? One of them was a wire coral. Now I've never had a wire coral before. Originally I thought this is a Gorgonian. And then but it's when I actually did some research into it, like very, very basic research, because there's not a lot of information on them. The only thing I found was a Reef Builder's article that said they are, most people think they're a type of Gorgonian, but they are more closely related to Acropora than Gorgonians, apparently. Although they said Acropora and Zoas. So that's quite a wide range of things if you think about it. But what I found interesting is most of them are photosynthetic. I don't know if most of them are non-photosynthetic, which means you have to feed them. I don't believe that the person who had the shop has done an order for a while, which means he must have had it in his shop for a while. So it'll be interesting to see. I might take it to the show. I might take it to Aqua purely because people will go, I've never seen that before. Because if I've never seen it, like the chances are most other people have never seen it. But it's black and it's really curly. So
cool, black and curly.
Yeah. If you type the way I found out what it was, I literally typed in black. I'm
not typing in black and curly onto my.
I typed in black curly Gorgonian, I think is what I wrote.
Okay.
And that's how I found it. But it obviously, So I thought
no one wants to see your black curlies, Ryan.
How did you find my fish of the week and coral of the week? Because sometimes you're like, meh. Whereas I think these are interesting ones.
Yeah, all right. Interesting. Yeah. Have you ever seen The Wire, the program The Wire?
Maybe.
Oh, it's the best thing ever. So good. Anyway, right. So fish of the week and coral of the week done. What does that mean, Ryan?
News.
Yes.
That took me way too long.
Long pause of silence.
Yeah.
Dead air is a crime, as Alan Partridge once said. Right, news. First off, Aqua is 2 weeks away.
Yes.
Tickets are 12 quid. So cheap.
Yeah.
1,762 tickets sold. So almost 2,000 tickets sold. I don't know how many people will turn up on the day or buy in the next 2 weeks. Yeah. But I guess that number is going to end up north of 2,000. 2,000 fish people in a room talking about fishing, that sort of stuff. And there's a million vendors going. So these are all the vendors. One thing I saw the other day, sea sweeps. You know what sea sweeps are?
I only know because you told me.
So it's like a device that turns your power head left and right, spins it around so it blows flow all over the tank. And there's a company that do sea sweeps there. I'm going to talk to them when I get there. But there's just millions of companies. There's about 1,000 coral selling websites. Signature Frags actually, unfortunately, isn't going to go. He can't make it for various logistical reasons. But there's a million coral selling websites. There's all sorts of cool stuff, and it's just going to be awesome.
I'd be interested to see what clownfish for you are bringing, because they must I'm assuming they're bringing.
Guesses.
No, I know, but I'm assuming they are clownfish breeders that will probably bring, like, in theory, their best of the best of what they can breed.
Long fin clownfish, yeah.
Maybe. It's the interesting thing is that one of the most exciting things about the show for me is not the fish and not the coral. I want to see the fish. I want to see the reptiles. I want to see what frogs and spiders there are. It's weird. It's just how I feel.
Oh, hang on a second. Shamila Butters says the ticket amount is wrong. It's 3,000 people, and the amount of vendors is 80.
I would be surprised if that was correct.
Yeah.
The reason I say that is because I spoke to the people who ran it. I might be wrong now. This was about a week ago, and it literally would have gone up like 1,300 in that week. Now
so that is about right. Okay.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if that's correct or not, but that would be a pretty steep jump.
Whatever. However many it's going to be is a lot of people there. It's a big venue, loads of coral vendors, loads of cool stuff there, all sorts of things that you won't have seen before. It's going to be cool. And so, there you go. If you haven't bought your ticket, you can do so at Aqua H.
So you know the 20 people, who are going to be in my garden. There's going to be 2,000 people in this room, and you won't be worried about touching my stuff.
I'm not going to. You stop talking about touching your stuff and your short black wiries. Oh, God's sake! I get demonetized at this rate. And so you're going to be dishing out tickets to your barbecue with every coral purchase, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, every coral. No, because I'm hoping to sell a lot of corals. So
yeah, well there you go. You can come to Ryan's barbecue and you can touch his stuff. Okay,
nice.
And that's a promise. Okay, other news. I'm going to start with the fish stuff because I know that's the stuff that you like, Ryan. And this is a really cool one, actually.
Please, is it the angelfish?
It is.
Is it the coral beauty?
So yes. A reversey Percy coral beauty. And I don't really like. I want to like coral beauties, but I don't. This is, if I was designing coral beauties, that's what I would make them look like, and that's what they should be like. They should enforce them to all look like that from now on, because that is cool.
Well, now that they're breeding dwarf angels and things like that, because they find fish like this pretty regularly. Like, not necessarily a coral beauty, but they find like different variations of colorations. Give those to breeding facilities. That fish should not go into the hands of a hobbyist at all. It should go to a breeding facility so that everyone can have a different coloured coral beauty if they want eventually.
It won't. It'll go to the highest bidder.
Yeah, of course. Well, hopefully one of those breeding facilities is the highest bidders.
Who knows? But yes, it was found in the Philippines. So there you go. But it's cool.
Yeah,
and I knew you would appreciate that.
I do.
Let's stay away from reefing equipment for a little bit to keep you going. There was an award given out for the Masna Marine Aquarium Society of North America.
Yeah,
I think so. It was the award title was the Pioneer Award for Hobbyist Advancement. So someone who's pioneered hobbyist advancement. Who would you, Ryan? Who would you?
Yeah.
Who would you, if you were...
You got something wrong with your chest? You got a cough or something?
Who would you give that award to?
Definitely not you.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not you. It'll be someone who's actually done something of significance. What? I mean, look, to be fair, he has done something of significance, but that was... See, I saw this before.
Burn.
No, the reason I thought this was because I saw this award given out before at MACNA. And it was some sort of like proper scientist person.
Money matters. Oh yeah. Not just some shop owner.
So, look, he's not even a shop owner anymore, is he? Why are we worried? He's not around anymore.
Oh God. Any more insults? Put him on the list.
But yeah, well, I'll add it to the list of people you offend, which is like about a mile long, and I'll add this to my first one on my list.
So I was really pleased with that. I thought I was really genuinely delighted because I think he has no one's advanced the hobby, in my opinion, in the last 10 years more than him.
To be fair, yeah, I agree. Brilliant. I was really pleased with that. Mark Levinson, Malev, won an award as well, and he did a live stream about it the other day. I didn't see what that was though. I didn't. It didn't
It didn't have it in the title.
So you don't know what the award was?
No, but he's an all-round good guy and deserves any award he gets.
Yeah, I like Mark really a lot. I've met him a couple of times in person. He's exactly who you see on the camera. And that's what I like. Sometimes when you meet people, they're not the person you see on camera, but he is exactly the person you see. And it's just very refreshing.
Yeah, very true. Bad news, Ryan.
Okay.
Just
equipment.
You glaze over and I'll talk about equipment. Well, actually, this isn't equipment. This is to do with corals. So Triton have brought out 2 new products. And they're 2 products that you need to understand what they do. Because at first glance, you're like, what? They are called Expand.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's as in expand.
Yeah.
Expand and Enfuse. As in infused. And what they do...
I didn't get the second one.
Yeah. So what they do, Expand... it triggers. Apparently, this is something that they found. Scientists have found, or whatever.
Yeah.
That I can't remember what it was. It was something in the water that they found that was doing this in the wild. But it triggers a feeding response. So it makes polyps open, basically. So if you put Expand in your tank before you feed your corals, your corals are like, "Yep, I'm up for that." And this is just a stat on the website on Reef Builders, but it said it increased coral food absorption by 70%.
Okay.
Which is not bad. So
they've had those sorts of things around for years, though, I think, haven't they? Where you can put something in your tank and it sort of stimulates the corals before you feed them.
It's a weird thing to me. It doesn't. I don't think I'd ever buy that because that just sounds like weird. But
I'll add them to the list.
Yeah, you love that. You love that bloody list. But there you go. So if you're into that sort of stuff, then there's that. And the other thing was Enfuse, which is it describes itself as a nutrient carrier system. It's 2 bottles, component 1 and component 2. And with both of these, I had to read the full thing to understand what they did.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what? And this isn't a coral food. It's like a vehicle for getting coral food to your corals.
Okay.
So, and I don't really understand. So I think the idea is the Expand opens the mouth.
Yeah.
And the Enfuse drives your food and your amino acids or whatever into the coral. And
but how does that work?
Science. pH.
Okay. I can understand the first one. If you put something into that stimulates a feeding response, I can get that.
Makes sense.
I don't understand how the second one works. And if I don't understand how something works, I don't use it in my tank.
No. But there you go. They on paper they sound very good. It's just that's not really my cup of tea, to be honest. But then that's because I like basics. Anyway, those are new products. If they float your boat, then you can go and buy them from a shop. Auto Aqua, who make an auto water changer, I think, and an auto top off, have brought out a weird dosing pump.
Okay.
So it's a slimline hang-on dosing pump.
Yeah.
Right. That is the dosing. The dosing units are in there. Okay. The peristaltic pumps are in that bit. It's roughly the size of a deck of cards, roughly, tiny bit bigger, and it hangs on the back of your tank. But they've also drawn diagrams where it hangs elsewhere. And that's going to be a niche product, right? Because most people are just buying a normal dosing pump.
Yeah.
And I don't really see the point of that for 90% of people. But I guess if you want something that if it's hanging on your sump, then it's not on your, because some people don't have space in your cabinet. Exactly. So so maybe that's good for some people. And even if it is on your cabinet, it's nice and it sits flush, so it doesn't stick out or whatever. So
there's just one head, isn't it?
That one is, but there's a 4-head one. I don't know if it's available at the moment or coming soon or whatever. In fact, that looks like it's got, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that is a 4-head dosing. So there'll be a 4-head one as well. No details on price or release date. Certainly innovative, I'll give them that. But I think that feels like it'll be niche. But there'll be some people watching going, oh, I need that for the space in my tank. And actually, to be fair, thinking about it, in the Cade, there's the power bar section is really narrow. It's about 1.5 inches thick. And that would fit in there. So actually, that would be...
There you go. It just so happens that you are that niche buyer.
And I don't want it. But anyway. And then also, Sicce has launched a suite of products for their 50th year anniversary. Happy birthday, Sicce. Sorry I didn't buy you a cake. But they're skimmers, basically. Weird size skimmers. So there's one for tanks between 10 and 13 gallons, so Fluval Evo, and one for tanks between 15 and 20 gallons.
They must fit in the back of the, but that's why they're square, isn't it?
Exactly. So they're small, and lots of people with those size tanks often want skimmers. Whether or not they're actually worthwhile having in a tank that small is another matter. But there you go. There's and Seachair, good reputation for reliability and quality, that sort of stuff. So it's good to have an option. That, I think, concludes. Oh, no, it doesn't quite conclude the news. There's one other piece of news. There's no live stream next week because I'm in France.
Oh, surprise!
Yeah,
you always surprise it on me. You always tell me on the stream.
I didn't remember until an hour ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm away next weekend." But that does conclude the news. And yeah, lots of people saying snake oil for that Triton thing. I'm sure it works. But yeah,
I just wonder: are you allowed to say something works these days if it doesn't work? Like in the old,
it doesn't matter if you're allowed; people still say it.
Yeah, in the old days of fish keeping, there really was like it was like a Wild West when it came to like snake oil. But are you allowed? Like,
Triton doesn't Triton doesn't strike me as the kind of company who would make bold claims that are nonsense.
Yeah.
They seem like quite a scientific.
That's why they can't sue us now.
So that's the only thing I'd say with that is that is for the 1%. Okay, so if you've clicked on this video to learn about pH and you're thinking pH was a solution, and now you're like, well, pH wasn't a solution, so what is? That is not the solution.
There's no live stream for 2 weeks
because of Aqua.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, because I think the show ends at 4 on Sunday, but once like 4, 5, 6, 7, like. Unless I don't think there's any chance I'll be done before like 9 o'clock.
No, very slim. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. All right. Well, we'll work. It might be one in 2 weeks' time, but probably not.
It might be one with just you.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
don't need a live stream with us. You're going to be there with us.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, non-stream. Yeah.
And what's happening on the Saturday night? Where are we going?
The pub.
The pub. We're going to the pub. So come see us. But we're not going to tell you the time until we've got our seats, and then we will tell you the time. Because we need to make sure we have seats.
Do a live stream from the pub.
Yeah.
No.
John just said I film Ryan pack up everything. I actually probably will do a video on all the stuff that is that I have. I will do a video on the drive down with Jamie. He doesn't know yet, but surprise. And I will do a video of setting the stand up. And I might actually put that video out on Friday, so that people can go, oh, this is what the stand looks like. These are the corals and everything. Maybe. Remember, I'd have to edit it in the Premiere so I don't know if I will or not, but we'll see. But yeah, because then it gets people excited because they go, oh, I can see the corals Ryan's got. I'm going to go there straight away, or whatever. So
if I do a video, well, I will do a video, but it'll be at least a week after the event.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have so much footage to traipse through, so I'm a bit worried that it's going to take me about a month to upload the video. Oh
yeah, and the second video I probably will do a video of the actual show as well, because on Friday morning or Saturday morning, or maybe Sunday, depending, we'll see. I might do a walk around before, because I can get in at 7, and you can get in at 7 too if you want. just go in. Just go in with a white note and just say employee of Prestige Reef. They'll let you in. Don't you worry.
I'll just walk in. I'll go, that's my pass.
Reef Dork's here. Yeah, so exactly, But yeah, so I will, and if because you haven't filmed a show before, I don't think, have you?
Coral Freaks, yeah.
You want to be filming before people are there.
Yeah.
Because once people are there, and you can film once people are there, but things like the stands and stuff like that, you want to do it before they're there because it's a pain in the ass otherwise.
I wasn't allowed in early at Coral Freaks, but I will be allowed in early at this place. Because I'm kind of a big deal. So yeah,
That's true. You weren't a big deal back then, were you?
not at all.
No.
EOI Kumar says, do a live stream like Reef Builders did, 10 minutes with many people. I watched that video, really good video. I really enjoyed it, actually. It was great to see 10 minutes with different people. But just looking at the setup they had with all the microphones, the cameras, 2 cameras, all these microphones, that sent chills down my spine. Respect to the people who did that, because that is not just turn a camera on, turn a microphone on and go.
Yeah.
That looked like a nightmare to me.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's just, but it would take too much, and I would need a crew of people to help me.
Yeah.
So, but it was cool. Okay, Ryan, do you have anything else you would like to discuss?
Nope, same as usual. Go buy coral, keep me busy. That's it.
Go buy 3D printed aquarium accessories, keep me busy.
Yeah. It's like we tried to outcompete with regards to.
I know.
Yeah. So, but yes,
Right.
That's it. So
I am going to go and feed my cat, and I will see you all in a couple of weeks.
See you later.